Spring 2025. Hello, my name's Keir Starmer, and if you are demanding a national inquiry into the grooming gang scandal, you are jumping on a far-right bandwagon. June 2025. Hello, my name's Keir Starmer, and I'm ordering that we should have a national inquiry into the grooming gang scandal. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. What a joke. What a hypocrite. He's actually trying to claim credit for this. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of credit attached because they've finally done the right thing and called for a national inquiry. But this was the right thing to do 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago. It's always been the right thing to do. And people like him and Jess Phillips, who was actually the Women and Safeguarding Minister, denounced people that were calling for a national inquiry. They belittled them. They said it was, was it Lucy Powell said it was dog whistle politics, far-right politics, right-wing propaganda. And now, all of a sudden, it's the right thing to do. So why have they called for it now? Well, they've called for it yesterday, specifically because this week, the Casey report, the Baroness Casey report, I put a video on about this just yesterday, was due to be released. And in the Casey report, she's already found many of the things that we already knew to be true. So she has made the direct link between certain demographic groups, primarily Pakistani Islamic demographic groups in northern towns and other towns. She's made the link between illegal immigrants and illegal immigration and grooming gangs and rape and sexual abuse of women and girls in this country. She's made that link. And she, in that report, called for a national inquiry. Now, if that had just come out and hit all the news and all the headlines, and Starmer had been seen to have to react to that after it had hit the news, then he'd have looked like a plum. So he's tried to get in early, and he's tried to steal a little bit of the credit by saying, I've read the report, and yes, we need to have a national inquiry, before anyone else even knows what's in it. That's what he's tried to do. He's tried to get ahead of the news. So I suppose it's good politics from that point of view. But the big question now is going to be, and don't get me wrong, I'm in favour of a national inquiry. However, there are lots of provisos around that. So what are some of those provisos? Well, what are the terms of reference going to be for that national inquiry? What is it going to be specifically set up to look at, and what questions it's going to ask? Who's going to head it up? Who they appoint to head it up will have a great deal of influence on the shape that it takes and how it plays out. I would imagine it'll be some sort of a judge or some sort of a peer. But what is that judge and what is that peer's background? That's an important question. Will people who are requested to appear be given immunity from prosecution? Because were you aware that that can happen? National inquiries can demand that people appear and give evidence, but in so doing can then also give them immunity from any further prosecution. We can't allow that. Cannot allow that. If people are guilty of crimes, particularly people in the police, particularly people who are counsellors, social services, authorities, if they've conspired to cover this up, they must get nicked. And so no immunity whatsoever. None for anybody. And national inquiries don't automatically lead to prosecutions. They can't demand that people are prosecuted. So the CPS and the police need to be on board as well. Because if things come out, if things are revealed, then it has to go to the next step, and there has to be prosecutions and convictions of people. Not just of the men who've committed the crimes, but all of the people in authority that have conspired to hide this, cover it up, maybe even made money from it, maybe even been involved in it. It has to go deep. And then there's also the speed question. When is the national inquiry going to start, and how long is it going to take? And how much funding is it going to be given? They were going to give £5 million to 3 inquiries, which would have gone nowhere. A national inquiry needs to be given 100 million quid straight off the bat, told to start on the 1st of July, and told that it needs to be completed within a year to 18 months. We know that these crimes are still going on today. And so it's not good enough just to have a national inquiry. Every police commissioner in the country needs to be called into the Justice Secretary's office and told, this is one of your priorities. Pull your finger out your arse and get onto it. So hopefully this is the breaking of the dam, the crack in the wall, the start of something ongoing. And what's really interesting is that so many of these aspects are linked together at the moment. So I was watching this on the news this morning, and they have the rolling ticker across the bottom telling you about other news. And it said that in Portadown in Northern Ireland last night, police were using water cannons on protesters and rioters. And as I've said in a previous video, I'm not in favour of people rioting, but what sparked off these riots? Well, it's anger at immigration, and specifically what sparked it off was rape and sexual abuse of young 13, 14-year-old girls by immigrants. So that's linked into this. And then made another video yesterday. We had 919 people arrive on the beaches at Dover in one day. We're probably going to get thousands over the next few weeks because the weather's supposed to be really good. So that's all linked into this. All of this is part of one great big question about where this country is going and the future of this country. And it has to be answered because it is the single dominating factor in politics and in political life at the moment. So will they have the balls to answer the question? Will they have the balls to confront the issue? Will they have the balls to do the right thing? I doubt it, because if they do, and they genuinely do it all honestly, it's going to bring half the establishment down, including very large chunks of the Labour Party. So watch this space. Having a national inquiry is good news, but it's literally just the first step, and how they go about it is going to be critical. And please don't start giving Starmer credit for doing it. He's only done it because he's been caught with his hand in the biscuit tin.